Closed captioning brought to you by Illustrated Properties Real Estate. Our roots run deep.
Greetings and welcome. Today we tackle the subject of taxes and identify the financial benefits associated with home ownership. Special guest CPA Paul Smythe is on hand, along with Illustrated Properties Senior Vice President Tom Day. Do you think you're paying more for your home insurance policy than you think you should? David Dunham outlines what to look for when evaluating your policy. But first, let's welcome our weekly contributor Tom Day and our special guest CPA Paul Smythe. Thanks. Paul, I was just leafing through my copy of the Federal Tax Handbook for 2014, and I was going to page 3001. Well, I thought, no, why don't we just ask Paul about some of the advantages, tax advantages of home ownership?
There's quite a few tax advantages for buying a residence, buying a second residence, buying an investment property. That real estate is a very good thing to shelter your tax bill.
You're talking about deducting your mortgage interest?
Sure. The mortgage interest, the first $1 million for the acquisition debt is tax deductible on your primary residence and actually a second residence too. The points when you buy a property are also deductible. You know, loan origination fees, those are also tax deductible on your income tax return.
Lots of reasons why someone should buy a house.
Right.
Now, I had a question myself, not to bring up a subject that I think it's important with the rules that are changing, although I hear there's a positive talk about it. You mentioned earlier on short sales, which is an important part of our South Florida market. Could you bring us up to date on what's going on currently?
Yeah, the current rules are not quite as good as last year, but there's a possibility that the cancellation of debt on a short sale or a foreclosure when the bank forgives the debt last year, as we know, was a provision in the tax code for 2013 that would be allowed to be forgiven and the income would not be recognized as taxable provided you met the requirements for living in that residence. This year that is no longer available, but I have read that there's 2 committee reports with proposals to reinstate that provision in the tax code, so that's good news.
But right now, if you're forgiven some of your debt, the IRS is going to consider it income, and these people are broke and they're supposed to pay the extra income tax.
That's true. If it's an investment property, of course, if you lost your equity in an investment property and you had a rental property or you're trying to produce income, then you would also have a loss on, and that would shelter that income and offset that dollar for dollar.
I know in the real estate business and in other businesses as well, so many people are working at home and need to take a home office deduction.
Sure. I mean, if you've been working in your home, if you use that home office regularly and exclusively for business purposes, that's a tax deduction. There's actually a safe harbor now that you get to $5 per square foot up to the actual cost of out of pocket for the 300 square feet that you're using. So that's a good safe harbor now for office in the home deduction.
What about capital gains when you sell a property?
Well, that's a great thing about real estate is that you do get, instead of ordinary income, which could be as high as 39.6%, real estate does qualify as capital. So if you're in the lower tax brackets, like 0, 10, 15, less than 25%, that income, actually capital gain income is free. You're actually in a 0 tax bracket for capital gains. Then if you're a little bit over that in the 25% tax bracket, basically for married people, $70,000 of income, you might have to pay 15 cents on every dollar that you make on your profits. Unfortunately, if you're up there at the high income, you may end up at the 20% tax bracket if you're in the highest tax bracket of 39.6%.
Well, Tom, Paul sold me on real estate. It sounds great.
Well, the message here is you got to talk to your accountant.
Indeed. Paul Smythe, thank you for being here today on South Florida Real Estate Update.
Thank you.
And of
Thanks,
course, Tom Day. We'll be right back.
Fort Pierce is a beautiful waterfront city and is one of the oldest cities in Florida. Fort Pierce celebrates its history by maintaining its historic buildings and through exceptional museums like the A.E. Backus Museum and Gallery, the St. Lucie County Regional History Center, and the Navy SEAL Museum. As Fort Pierce was the birthplace of the SEALs during World War II, Fort Pierce is also a great center for the arts, featuring the Sunrise Theater, which was beautifully restored to its original 1920s grandeur and hosts numerous and diverse shows, from rock concerts to opera. There are also frequent waterfront events like the Farmers Market, Bike Night, and Friday Fest. And there are plenty of beautiful and uncrowded beaches. Fort Pierce truly has that old Florida feel that is getting hard to find. With a population of just under 42,000, Fort Pierce is growing at a comfortable pace and features a slow-paced lifestyle with plenty of things to do, especially if you like the water. The fishing here is some of the best on the East Coast, and it's becoming a sport fishing mecca. If you are looking to move to a place with an old Florida feel, great restaurants, and lots to do in and around the water, Fort Pierce is a great place to look. Home prices are very reasonable, and few places combine all that Fort Pierce has to offer. Does your home have curb appeal? The impact of landscaping, especially here in South Florida, is incredible. It's a big part of how we assess the value of a home, a community, even a lifestyle. It takes vision, talent, and expertise to create a design that makes a truly great impression, one that will wow you today and grow throughout the years. Innovative, green, and gorgeous. Impact Landscaping, the clear choice. Do you want the best deal on carpeting? Call us last! Do you want the best deal on hardwood and laminate? Call us last! Want the best deal on tile? Call us last! At Bargain Bob's, we're so sure of our price, product, and service that we want you to call us last. Bargain Bob's. One call, that's all. 561-848-0808.
We at South Florida Real Estate Update would like to sincerely thank all of you, our viewers, for your reaction and your patronage of this show, and especially your emails. I've got an email for this guy right here. David Dunham of David Dunham Insurance. Thanks for being here again on South Florida Real Estate Update. Now, the last time you were here, you talked about windstorm insurance and how the state is trying to get Citizens out of the business.
Correct. Citizens Property Insurance, which is the state-run insurer of last resort, is actively trying to reduce exposure. And by doing that, they are raising rates, they are dropping coverages, and they are actually spinning off policies to new companies that are coming into the market. So if I had a Citizens policy, I would probably want to see if I could replace that by calling an independent agent like myself and trying to find a better policy at a better rate.
Now, hold that thought, because I've got a question here from Lori in North Palm Beach, who wrote me to say, good to hear about Citizens windstorm alternatives, but my homeowners is escrowed into my mortgage payment. How do I switch?
Okay.
How do you do it?
And that's a good question. We get that all the time, and we switch people all the time. It's not hard to do at all. All the policies that are in the state, including Citizens, they're prorated policies. So if you come out of that policy any time during that term, whether you're in for 3 months or 6 months, the unused portion of that policy would be refunded back. So if you have an escrow account and you come out of your policy after 6 months, that 6 months of that refund will go back to your escrow account, and we would call the bank and tell them, we found a replacement policy. Please pay the new premium for the new policy. The refund from Citizens would go back to the escrow, and if you did get a better rate, it actually would help your escrow account, and you'd probably have lower payments going forward.
So you might pay actually less for your homeowner's insurance.
Most of the times, yes, that would be the case.
Now, what kind of documentation do I have to bring into David Dunham Insurance to get this magic done?
Okay. All we need is a copy of your declarations page. That's the first page of the policy that shows, besides your name and address, it shows when your policy is coming due, what your coverages are, and what the premium would be.
And when you look at that declarations page, sometimes you see some surprising things, I imagine.
It's amazing what we see. We see there's lots of bad policies out there. So if you're not getting a second opinion, you might be paying a lot more for your insurance than you probably should be.
So the bottom line here is call David Dunham Insurance, an independent insurance agent, and bring in your declarations page and see if you can do a better job than Citizens.
And we're doing that. That happens every week. People come to us, and it happens every week.
David, we have a couple of seconds left. Let me ask about flood insurance. Lots of people are freaked out about the National Flood Insurance Program and how their rates are going through the roof.
Yeah, flood insurance is in a state of flux right now. There was a new law that was passed towards the end of 2012. I think it's called the Brigitte Water's Flood Insurance Reform Act, and they're taking the subsidies out of flood insurance. They're trying to make the flood insurance policies actuarially sound. Flood is run through FEMA or by FEMA. They're having a huge deficit, and they want to make up that difference. So unfortunately, by putting this law into place, some of the flood insurance policies have gone up 25, 50%, 100% or more. But they're trying to roll that back, and right now it's in Congress, so it's a moving target right now, but there are some problems out there with floods.
Oh, I understand. It's in Congress, so it's a mess.
Right,
Okay.
correct.
David Dunham, call David Dunham at David Dunham Insurance. Thanks for being here on South Florida Real Estate Update. We're in the warehouse of Adams Air Conditioning. Adam Emanuel, welcome to South Florida Real Estate Update. And Adam is going to take us inside something most of us have never seen, but it's in our homes.
Yes, it's your air handler. It's that box that sits in your closet or your attic or the garage. Nobody knows what it is, but it actually contains some very critical components to your air conditioning system. One is the cooling coil or evaporator coil.
Now this is a real big one because this is for the building.
This is a large one, but you could see the size in a residential home as well. And it contains your cooling coil, evaporator coil, which absorbs the heat from your home. It contains the blower, which takes the air from your house and pulls it through the cooling coil and back into your house. And it also up top contains the heater, in case those rare days when we need heat in Florida.
And then the outside unit does what in a home?
The outside unit is called a condensing unit. That contains the condenser coil and the compressor. The compressor is the pump that pumps the freon or refrigerant through the system. And the outside coil is where the heat gets dispersed that it absorbed from inside the home.
Now, at my home, I have a single unit on the roof. So it has everything in it?
Exactly. It's called a package unit. And that is actually the inside, the air handler, and the condensing unit from outside put together in one unit.
Now, I've not seen the inside of my unit. Should I be cleaning it? Should there be some maintenance going on here?
Well, it's not really something you could clean yourself, but a good qualified air conditioning company could come in and they could clean the coils and clean the blower, disinfect the inside of the air handler, make sure everything's working properly.
Disinfect?
Yes.
Disinfect.
Yes, disinfect. Air handlers, because they're cool and they're damp, naturally grow some mold in them, and they get dirt because you have the air going through them from your home. So you need to clean them and disinfect them at least once a year.
So if it's cleaned, it will be more efficient, or it just won't break, or what's the point?
Some of both. If it's dirty, it will be less efficient, and if it's dirty, it's more likely to corrode and break at an earlier age.
Adam, thanks for the tour. That's really cool. Adam Emanuel from Adams Air Conditioning. Thanks for being here on South Florida Real Estate Update.
Thank you.
Choosing the right real estate agency and realtor makes a dramatic difference in the outcome of your transaction and overall experience. So before you make your decision, make sure your realtor has a solid understanding of the local market, lifestyles, and opportunities, as well as strong connections and trusted resources. Knowledge, experience, cutting-edge technology. This is our culture. This is our promise. Illustrated Properties Real Estate. Our roots run deep.
If you're asking yourself, will anyone help me save my home? Direct your question to James A. Chaffee, Esquire, a.k.a. the Juris Doctor. Through his daily practice and legal advice column, Mr. Chaffee provides his diagnosis and a path to help homeowners achieve the best possible outcome. If you're dealing with a tough situation or simply closing on a home, don't go it alone. Make sure you have proper representation. The Juris Doctor, real estate attorney James A. Chaffee, by your side.
We're all inundated with promotional messages about how to secure a mortgage. It's hard to know what to do. That's where Janine Henryon from Group 1 Mortgage comes in. Not only does she have the expertise to uncover your best options, she is there to help you every step of the way.
Janine was an amazing person to work with. She was always there for me. I could call her any time of the day. She supported me through the entire process and made me achieve my dream.
Janine Henryon. Count on her to go the extra mile.
Talking to Tom Day here of Illustrated Properties, and everyone here watching comes from all different areas. They're looking for condos, they're looking for 3-2, but some of you are looking for luxury homes, and it's a specialty, Tom.
It is. We have an elite team of luxury specialists, and last year we were fortunate to close over $400 million of luxury properties.
Why would you say to a buyer or seller it's important to deal with a specialist in luxury homes?
It is a niche market. It's a specialty market, for sure.
What makes it so different, other than just money?
Well, there's a different kind of buyer, and you have to know how to market the property. We typically meet with the owner of the property and collectively together come up with a solid marketing plan.
Mm-hmm. What about buyers coming into the market looking for a second home?
It's amazing. Our biggest sale last year was $12 million, and it was in the equestrian market in Wellington. Mm-hmm. So it runs the whole gamut.
And we've already talked about how important international buyers are in this market. So specialists also know how to deal with the international market as well.
How to search them out, how to find them. Absolutely, it's a big part of the market. 1 out of 4 buyers internationally are buying in South Florida.
Mm-hmm. How important is that market? Is it a fast turnover with those homes, or is it sort of more slow-moving, looking for just the right buyer or so?
Well, the stats on homes under $500,000 is about a 6-month supply. Over $1 million, it's more than a year, but that's still not long for those kind of properties. It's a robust market.
And it's worth the wait.
It's worth the wait.
Tom Day, thanks.
You're welcome.
What? You've never been to Polo? Try it. You'll like it. I'm here with John Walsh, who is the president of the International Polo Club Palm Beach.
That's correct. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much. You've got a coin toss that you're going to be doing in a couple of minutes. Thank you for taking your time with us
Yeah,
today.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the Polo Club and what your attendance is.
Oh gosh, it just depends upon the time of the year, but we start out in January and culminate with the Maserati US Open final championships in April, so crowds can be anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 people.
And when I look at the crowd here today, I don't just see people in hats and bow ties and formal wear. I just see people in shorts just hanging out looking at the game.
It's a little bit of everything. So, polo enthusiasts, they're here. If you just love the horse, they're here. There are those that want to be seen and want people to see them. So it is a little bit of everything.
And some people just want to go out on the field to stomp down the divots being taken out between chukkers.
That's the highlight. It's the halftime champagne divot stomp, sponsored by Veuve Clicquot, and it's a highlight of the game for a lot of people.
What would you tell someone who's never been to Polo and who's saying, I'm thinking I might feel out of place here?
It's like I said, there's something for everybody. We've got a kids zone for the family and kids. We've got field side seating. We've got tailgating. Come. It's a relaxed atmosphere. It's an easy game to understand. I say it's almost like hockey or soccer on horseback, but other people described it as the last mounted war game. So it's a rough and tough sport.
And you've got some big events coming up.
We do. Right now we have the final of the C.B. Whitney going on right now, and then we start out with the Piaget Gold Cup, and then, as I talked about earlier, the U.S. Open Polo Championship, which is one of the most coveted tournaments in the world.
So come on out and enjoy polo. You'll get the hang of it.
You'll get the hang. It's an easy game to catch on to, and I guarantee you'll have a fun day.
John Walsh, president of International Polo Club Palm Beach, thank you for being here today on South Florida Real Estate Update.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here.
It starts with a roof inspection. As a current homeowner, a buyer, or a seller, it's best to identify a roof's condition to determine the next course of action, if any. You can depend on the experts at State Certified Roofing to provide an honest and credible assessment of the roof and present options based on insurance company specifications, durability, design, cost, scheduling, and installation. State Certified Roofing, certified to ensure excellence.
We've all experienced guests that just will not leave.
You got the bug channel on here?
That was like that.
Nothing seems to make them leave.
Where did you buy this ham?
You're out of mustard, FYI.
Occupado.
They're everywhere.
Let's talk this over.
I'm Victoria McGaldy. Palm Coast Pest Control is family owned and operated.
We are committed to getting rid of all your unwanted guests. Call us today.
There's a reason why realtors turn to David Dunham Insurance. They want to help their buyers secure a homeowner's policy that delivers the best coverage and cost. As an independent insurance agent who is connected with over 25 A-rated companies, David Dunham Insurance connects homeowners with the best worry-free options available. Confidence, security, and cost adds up to peace of mind. That's why realtors turn to David Dunham Insurance. Shouldn't you?
I'm here with Joe Floyd of Impact Landscaping. Joe, I'd like to get inside the head of a landscaper of how you design a landscaping plan for a house. Where do you start?
Well, typically we try to work with the homeowner on the type of materials they like: trees, shrubs, ground covers, accents. Then we typically start on taking and putting palms and the trees around the house, designing those.
You start from the top.
Developing a canopy, then you work your way down, you add your accents in, then you add your material that's along the base of the house, and then you create your beds with the ground covers, etc.
How do you choose between palm trees and regular trees?
Well, you got to think of the growth habit of trees, and you don't want to put a big like oak tree right up next to the house. You want to put that more out in the yard, and you want to put more of a smaller type tree, and you got to think about the growth habit of the tree over the course of a number of years and what it's going to do up against that house. And we like to ask the homeowner, do they prefer palms? Do they prefer this look? And we try to get an idea of what look they have, and then we try to develop the type of tree. Do they want palms? Do they want more accents in the yard, etc.?
How do I choose a hedge?
Well, typically we like to try to put a hedge that's not going to get overly large against the house. If you're trying to put a hedge on the perimeter of the property, you're going to pick something that's going to get bigger. Well, if it's up against the base of the house, you want something that's not going to get too big, grow up, block windows, etc.
And the ground cover, perennials versus annuals?
Well, we try to only use perennials or annuals in key spots. Typically, we like to find ground covers that are going to be long-term, and with textures and color, you kind of create a difference and get the look that you're looking for with color, texture, and then in key spots, you put your annuals for a big shot of color.
It's a big plan, and you're the guy to do it. Joe Floyd, Impact Landscaping here.
The importance of pressure cleaning your home, brought to you by Paul Stetson Pressure Cleaning. Periodically pressure cleaning your home is an important part of home maintenance, and most homes should be cleaned at least once a year. Don't try to do it yourself. You should hire a reputable professional company with the proper gear and knowledge to safely do the job right. Hiring someone without the proper tools, insurance, and experience can damage your home and wallet. A knowledgeable company will cover sensitive fixtures and features, and will start the process with the roof, first doing a chemical soak, with helpers rinsing to ensure no wall streaking or damage to foliage. Each type of roof requires a different cleaning method. The wrong method can damage your roof. A thorough job will include cleaning out the gutters and downspouts and inspect the roof's condition. Next, the walls are sprayed to remove dirt, runoff, and insect nests. Cleaning your walls prolongs the life of the paint and prevents mold from setting in. Once again, it's important to do this right, as too much pressure can damage or even remove the paint. Finally, the driveway, walkways, and patio are done, and outside furniture is cleaned. A reputable company will ensure all chemicals are rinsed and that your home is left looking bright and new, greatly increasing its curb appeal.
You recognize this guy, he's Burt Reynolds, and is it okay to call you a hometown boy here at Palm Beach County?
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard you speak once at the Palm Beach International Film Festival, and you said when you land in Palm Beach County, your blood pressure goes down 20 points.
That's true. That's true. I really love it here. And how could you not love it? Look at it.
Well, you had a lot of fun here as a kid in Palm Beach County.
Oh, yes, I had way too much fun. It was a wonderful place to grow up in. It was, and it was a perfect time because it was the 50s, and it was so innocent and wonderful.
How do you spend your time now? You're in Los Angeles.
Well, I've had, you know, you go through these dry spells, and then all of a sudden, I did 4 pictures in a row. I've had a fabulous career. I mean, in terms of just being lucky and working all the time.
And #1 at the box office for 5 or 6 years.
Well, I was lucky then too. You know, it was, I mean, how many pictures could George Hamilton make, for crying out loud?
Burt, thank you very much for your time today. Burt Reynolds.
My pleasure.
Do you have a question about real estate or something that we've talked about here on the program that you'd like to have answered on the air? Of course you do. Well, ask Kurt. Email me at kurtfonger@sfreu.com. kurtfonger@sfreu.com. It's easy. You know you want to. Email me.
Who is it?
I'm Roger, of Adams Air Conditioning.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to technicians showing up on time.
We get that a lot. May I come in?
It's so hot in here.
Exactly 92.4 degrees to be exact.
Just look at my kids.
Do something for Pete's sake.
Help me, Roger of Adams Air Conditioning. You're our only hope.
I'm on it.
You did it! Thank you!
No need to thank me. It's what we do.
And there you are, South Florida Real Estate Update for this week. Please tune in next week as we welcome back our very special guest, Dr. John Tusillo, Chief Economist for Florida Realtors, along with Tom Day of Illustrated Properties, to discuss real estate strategies and the long-term outlook. Local luxury, some of the most sensational homes in the world are right here in South Florida. And next Sunday, we zoom in on some of this area's best. Also, if you want to get more information about a segment on the show or get a handle on the property values in your area, search properties and more, log on to southfloridarealestateupdate.com. It's all right there. On air, online, and on the go. South Florida Real Estate Update, addressing your local real estate market. I'm Kurt Fonger. Have a good week.